the chicken and the egg. So, Marty said, Anna is like, your girlfriend? He and Ted were standing exactly where Anna had left them, staring at the moon-pooled door. Yup, Ted answered. She's something, Marty said. A force of nature, Ted said with a grin. We've been together for years. Whenever we can be together, that is. We're both pretty focused on our work, which makes it pretty good match. I like her, Marty said. So do your parents. I don't know if Wolf told you this, but Anna flew down to Brazil with him when they crashed in the jungle. The way Anna was dressed, it was hard for Marty to imagine her hacking her way through a sweaty tangle of leaves and vines. So, you think my parents are okay? Marty asked. I don't know, Ted answered, but I do know Anna. If she thinks there's a chance they're alive, there's a chance. If you probably noticed, but she doesn't mince words. She says what she means and means what she says. If she thought they were dead, she would tell you. Ted looked at his diver's watch. We don't have a lot of time, but I suppose I should take a couple of minutes to talk to you about the chicken and the egg. It will give you some insight into how I think and how Wolf thinks as well. In a few hours, you and I will be exploring unknown territory in very tight quarters. I know something about how you think. It would be best for both of us if you know something about how I think. Ready? Sure. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know, Marty said. Why is that important? Because it's the foundation of my theory of invention, Ted answered. And you have to know the answer if you are going to be my co-pilot. Fine, Marty said. Which came first? Ted shook his head. First, I need to explain some things to you. He patted the side of the orb. I came up with this new alloy by studying the exoskeleton of a dragonfly Wolf found in the Congo when he was there with Rose. He was looking for a dinosaur and stumbled across an unusual dragonfly, previously unknown to science, and sent it back to Kryptos. If Wolf had not gone to Lake Tell to find Mokum, he would not have found the dragonfly. It would not have been able to synthesize the alloy, invent the botfly, or dragon spy as you call it, or the orb, or the aqua suits, which I'm going to show you in a moment, all of which are made of the same material. There is nothing new under the sun, Ted continued. All great inventions are a synthesis of things that already exist in nature. A lot of people think that Travis Wolf is a lunatic, risking his life and fortune pursuing animals that are not supposed to exist. But you see, finding these animals is secondary to searching for them. You can't discover anything unless you're out looking. Hunting cryptids is an excuse for looking. The two hatchlings gulping down pounds of meat in Lab 9 are interesting, but the discovery doesn't matter unless we ask the right questions about why they still exist when every other dinosaur disappeared tens of millions of years ago. What makes the hatchlings different from all the other dinosaurs that went extinct? The answer to this might lead to dozens of new technologies, or it may lead to nothing, but that doesn't matter. Which leads me back to my original question. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Marty shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. That's close, Ted said, but the real answer is, it doesn't matter. The important thing is the question. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Maybe, Marty said. Let me give it a shot. Go ahead. If you haven't gotten the contract to go after the giant squid, you might have not invented the orb. Without the alloy, you wouldn't have been able to come up with the orb. Without the orb, you wouldn't be able to explore Carcana Canyon. If you couldn't go into the canyon, you'd never know what's down there. We may not catch a giant squid, but what we find in the canyon might lead to something that could help us up here. I knew you'd get this, Ted said enthusiastically. And if you're lucky enough to capture a squid and get it back to Washington alive, we'll learn from the creature. And make money, Marty nodded. Ted laughed. Money has never meant much to me or to Wolf. If you find your passion and pursue it, the money will follow. Wolf and I use money to keep the gas tank full so we can look around. Speaking of which, do you want to see the aqua suit? Yeah. Marty followed Ted into the control room, which looked even more elaborate up close than it had from a distance. Wolf, or whoever is manning the room, will be able to see and hear everything we see and hear in the orb. Another set of eyes in case we miss something in the deep. Opposite the screens and computers hanging on a rack were 3 golden suits with attached hoods. On a shelf above them were 3 black high-tech looking helmets with black visors. The suits aren't as scratchy as they appear, Ted said. Yours is the one on the left. While you were in the Congo trying to kill yourself, I used a pair of your jeans and a t-shirt for the measurements. Correction, Marty said, imitating Anna. While I was in the Congo with Butch McCall trying to kill me. Noted, Ted said. My point is, the suit should fit pretty well. The alloy stretches and contracts like spandex. Marty felt the suit. It doesn't feel like the stuff the orb is made out of. Same alloy, Ted said. But a lighter version. It's sort of like an exoskeleton that's molecularly adapted to any environment. It's cold in the abyss. The aqua suit will keep you as comfortable, 70 degrees, or whatever temperature you choose. You make it sound like the suits are alive, Marty said. In a way they are, and so is the orb. It's a bit complicated to explain, but the orb and the aqua suits are actually organic body armor impervious to just about everything. And they will adapt instantly to any environment. Why don't you slip into your suit? We'll have to strip down to your underwear. Once I have you zipped in, I'll get into my suit. I don't see a zipper, Marty said. How am I supposed to get into it? Through the neck? With this. Ted pulled what looked like a glass knife out of a pocket in Marty's aqua suit. He pushed a green button on the handle. The blade started to hum and turn green. What is that? You probably noticed there is no hatch in the orb. This is the key to the orb and the zipper to the aqua suits. It's a molecular particle disruptor. Green opens the zipper. Red closes the zipper. He ran the key down Marty's aqua suit, ripping it from the neck to the crotch. Step inside. Marty took off his jeans and t-shirt and pulled on the aqua suit. Ted hit the red button and the key glowed red. You're going to feel a tingling sensation like static electricity. He ran the key along the tear and it came together like it had never been torn. Amazing, Marty said. We just rip a hole in the side of the orb to get inside? That's right. Once it's sailed, it's a completely enclosed environment. And with the helmets detached and functioning, the aqua suits are also completely enclosed. Who does the 3rd suit belong to? Marty asked. One of the scientists aboard. For security reasons, we haven't told him that he's going into the canyon yet. We'll let him know tomorrow morning just before we leave. What if he doesn't want to go? Don't worry, Ted said. He'll go. He won't miss this opportunity for anything in the world. Go ahead and put your helmet on. Marty took it from the shelf and put it on his head. As soon as the helmet touched the fabric around his neck, he felt another burst of static. The helmet is adhering to the suit, Ted explained. Leave the visor up for a moment while I get into my suit. Marty did a few stretches. The suit, helmet included, was feather light, comfortable, and covered every inch of his body down to his fingertips and toes. Ted zipped himself into his suit and put on his helmet. You look like you're ready for a moonwalk, Marty said. With this suit, I could walk on the moon. Flip down your visor. Marty reached up to pull it down, but Ted stopped him. No, Ted said. It's computer controlled. There's a button on the right side of the helmet, but before you push it, I should tell you that it's going to be a little disorientating. I nearly fell over the first time I buttoned up. As soon as the visor comes down, the environmental systems, video, and audio are going to kick in. You're going to feel a lot of pressure in your ears and sinuses for a few seconds while the system adjusts to your physiology and the suit seals. Oh, and it will be pitch black. The visor is actually a video screen. We won't be able to see anything until we activate it. Ted's description of what it would feel like was not even close to what Marty experienced when he hit the button. He felt like he was falling into a black bottomless pit. His eyes burned, his ears popped, his knees buckled. At least he thought they buckled. He wasn't sure if he was standing on his feet or his head. Close your eyes. Ted's voice came through the speakers in the helmet. How do I know they're open? Marty said. Ted laughed. I told you it was disorientating. Just close your eyes. On the left side of the helmet is another button that turns on the onboard computer. The reason you need to close your eyes is that it's a little bright as it boots up. Marty pushed the left button. It should look like someone is shining a flashlight into your eyes. Yeah, I see red. Good. Your eyes are closed. Give it a few seconds, then open your eyes. Marty counted to 10 silently, then opened his eyes. Whoa! Cool, huh? It's awesome. It's like I'm seeing through the visor, not looking at a screen, and everything is so clear. I have hawk eyes, not human eyes. High definition, and you will have 360-degree view. Turn your head. Marty did. When he put on the suit, he'd been facing opposite the moon pool. He was pretty sure he hadn't moved, but he couldn't see the moon pool, the orb, and the dolphins as if he were facing in that direction. Marty looked back at Ted, who put his visor down. Where's the power for this thing? With all this high-def video and audio, it has to be burning a lot of juice. There's a battery built into the helmet. If you look up in the left-hand corner, you'll see a digital countdown timer. What's it read? 37 minutes? That's because you have all the bells and whistles turned on. If you shut down everything except the oxygen and pressurization, you'll have about an hour of battery left. When we hook the suits up to the orb, the components will run indefinitely. Wolf told me you know how to scuba? Yeah. About 30 miles west of Kryptos, there's a small trench approximately 1,000 meters deep. I made it all the way to the bottom in the aquasuit. That's more than 3 times deeper than the world record, Marty said. I know, Ted said. I could have gone much deeper, and I came straight back up without pausing for decompression. No bends, no ill effects whatsoever. Incredible, Marty said. So what's the suit's limit? I have no idea, Ted answered, and I hope we won't have to test the limits on this trip. That would mean the orb got crushed, and we had to eject. The suits are kind of a failure-safe system, an orb within the orb. And now it's time to get into the orb and familiarize you with the controls.